Should be live. Let's check first. Let's check. We are live. Welcome to another episode of Growthpreneurs. I'm Shanae Ray, and today we're going to be talking about how to network in business so that you don't waste your time or your energy, right? And happy Monday morning, right? Happy Monday morning. I hope that your Monday so far has been phenomenal. I hope that you are ready for a new month. Tomorrow, we're going to be going into March, which is pretty amazing. And I hope that you know exactly what you want to achieve this week. You have your goals, you're doing your thing. Maybe you worked out this morning. I know that I did. So little backstory before we go into today's topic. And if you're listening right now, I appreciate you so much. Put live or grow in the comments so that I can follow you, follow your content, maybe engage with you, learn about who you are. So I got this. I have a puppy. His name is Chance. He is an Australian Shepherd. The super cool thing about Chance is that he has one blue eye and one brown eye. It's super cool. But he has a lot of energy and he's been going on walks with me in the morning, but he like will bite the leash and stuff like that. So yesterday I got this thing that goes around my waist where it's like you could run and without holding the leash, like the leash attaches to the waist thing so that your dog can run with you. And if you're a dog owner, you should definitely buy one. I got one for my mom. It's really amazing. And the thing is like springy. So it kind of like will tug them in the right direction if they, like go a little slower or whatever, a little faster than you. And so that was fun. That was a new experience this morning. But anyways, if you're a dog owner, I highly recommend. That's fun. And it's like you don't have to have your like upper body, holding the leash the whole time. And you could just go on a nice run. It has like this little pouch to hold your phone. It's pretty cool. And you can listen to music or your podcast. Anyway, so I did that this morning and now I'm gonna, do the daily live for today. So welcome to another episode of Growthpreneurs. This is actually a topic of conversation this morning because of two things. Number one of the greatest complaints that I hear a lot of leaders make, and I speak to leaders, upwards of 9-figure earners, right? That they make about LinkedIn is that they're constantly getting spammed with messages of people wanting to sell them marketing or sell them something. Okay. And I find it funny that that's the number one complaint on a platform where networking is supposed to be the intention of that platform. And it just goes to show that networking is something that we're not taught. Okay. It's something that's not really fundamentally covered in school and really not really covered in a lot of people's family as well. So it's a skill set that really involves like a stack of skills from communication to, um, empathy to self-awareness. Like there's so many skills that come with like the relationship building aspect of networking. And I'm going to go through a couple of things that may help you today, because what you don't want is to invest a lot of your hours, time, energy, attention into LinkedIn. You're trying to network with people, you're doing it wrong. And then what people also don't realize is that your personal brand is more than just the content that you put out there publicly for people to see. It's also how you approach people in the DMs. Like, what are you sending them? It matters. Okay. So you want your approach, even in the DMs, to reflect on your personal brand, your values, your morals, things like that. So your personal brand is not just the public content that you put out there. It's really how people feel when they think of you. And that feeling will be affected by how you approach them in the DMs, period. So I hope that you understand that fundamentally. The second reason why I'm bringing up this topic today is because one of our members in Growth Academy was sharing a story where she started to network for her business last year. And she just would always get kind of into situations where people would be like, oh, let's collaborate. There's a synergy or whatever. And it would always be like a waste of time for her in the end. It wouldn't be transparent, whatever deal they were trying to make. Some of them just wanted like her to do some work for free, to collaborate or whatever. Others were like, and nothing against MLM, but others were just like an MLM in the end and they didn't lead with that. My problem with MLM is that just lead with the fact that you're an MLM, right? So they would say that there's like a work opportunity or whatever, and then it would just be an MLM. So I feel like there's so many people that don't network because they have these like first bad experiences, or there are so many people that give up on networking because they're just like, I'm spending so much time even going to in-person events and it's just not adding up to anything for me, right? And there's a way to do it, which is why I wanted to do this this short this short talk this morning. So if you're listening, I want you to share like some of your networking experiences in the comments right now. And I also want you to introduce yourself. Again, leverage the fact that there's going to be hundreds of comments, leverage the fact that this video will be viewed by a few thousand people, to promote yourself, right? What do you do? Who are you? Why are you on LinkedIn? What are you trying to achieve? How can people connect with you? Put it all in the comments. If not, you just miss out on that opportunity. And also, if you want to learn how to network better, right, and implement some of the things that I'm about to teach you today, then go to yougrow.club, www.yougrow.club, and join me for the masterclass on Saturday at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, so how do you not want to do this, right? Let's start with why so many people avoid LinkedIn and why people have a bad taste in their mouth, like when they go to their LinkedIn messages, because it's just full of people wanting to take your most valuable asset for no reason at all, or for a very self-serving reason, right? And your most valuable asset is your time, your attention, your energy. And when you open your LinkedIn DMs and there's just a slew of requests of, can you do this for me? Can you do that? From people that you've never even talked to before, from people that don't even say hello, right? It's kind of weird that this is like the norm of a networking platform. So I'm going to read, I'm not going to say who it's from, obviously, but I'm going to read an example of these type of messages. So at the top of my inbox, okay, there's a message that says, Shanae, I've never even talked to this person before, by the way. Shanae, can I ask a favor of you? Okay, so the first thing that your first experience of someone should not be, hey, I need you to do something for me, like from a complete stranger. That would be kind of weird. I want you to like really parallel digital networking with in-person networking. If you were at an in-person networking event and I didn't even greet you by name, I just said, hey, I need you to do something for me. You've never seen me before in your life. You have no idea who I am. You're probably going to back away and like just be like, I don't know who you are, lady, or just have a very bad like first impression of me, right? And so that's what's happening here. Like maybe I could have, right? Maybe I could have helped with this favor, but now I'm probably not, just because of your approach, right? So Shanae, can I ask a favor of you? ? So I'm actively growing my recommendation and reviews on LinkedIn and would really appreciate it if you take 1 minute and be willing to write a 5-star review for me. I'd appreciate it so much. Just 2 to 3 short lines or whatever you feel. And I've never even talked to this person before. Why would I recommend someone who I don't know how you work, right? Maybe you take on clients and you don't deliver. Why would I take my time and put my reputation on the line to write a public recommendation for someone who I have no idea who they are? I've never even talked to this person before. And so this is the type of stuff that will deter people from even opening up their messages on LinkedIn, right? And deter leaders from spending more time on LinkedIn, because when you open your messages, you're just bombarded by things like this, right? So the good news for someone like you who's listening is it's very easy to stand out in a good way, right? When this is the type of things that are norm on a networking platform, right? So when you give, when you become a giver instead of a taker, when you actually help someone before even asking them for anything, when you don't act like you're entitled to people's time, energy, and attention just because you exist, right? You start to stand out. And I know that that sounds crazy because it seems like you would believe that on a networking platform that, you know, the large majority of adult professionals would know not to approach people this way. But it's crazy to think that that's not the case. So let's go on, right? I say here in my notes that this is why people spend hours on LinkedIn per day and may still not be making the money that they want to make, right? Because I see this. I see like where marketers or just new founders or just salespeople, right? Sales leaders, business development managers are spending like 2 to 3 hours on LinkedIn a day, and they're still struggling. And so we have to like come to terms with a few things here. We have to understand that number one, money is a byproduct of you being effective at whatever it is that you do, at whatever work it is that you do, right? And if you understand that, if you understand that money is a byproduct of you being effective, if you're not making the money that you want to make, then you have to kind of accept that maybe you're not as good yet as you think that you are. Okay. Now, when someone gives you a chance to do work for them, that's a byproduct of trust in your ability to deliver on your promise, right? And so if you're not making the money that you want to make, you're just not earning enough trust from the right people. Okay. You're not building the right relationships. You're not networking in the right way, right? Your networking is not working. Okay. So I really believe that literally it's just about approaching people the right way and about being a giver. So we're going to go into this. I have a couple of rules here that you want to approach, that you want to like have in mind as principles, maybe when networking in a way where you could actually see the results from it. So number one, have a good idea as to who you can serve, right? And you would be surprised when I ask people, hey, why are you on LinkedIn? Who are you trying to connect with? Maybe 50% of people know. The other 50% are just like, I don't know. And that's already like, if you don't know kind of who you can serve, then it's going to be more difficult, right? So have a good idea as to who you can serve, who you want to connect with, right? You want, and it could be a few people. It could be that you're trying to get clients. That's fine, right? It could be that you're trying to get B2B partnerships. It could be that you're trying to find startups to invest in. It could be that you want to find nonprofits, right, to donate money to, or people to have on your board, whatever it is, people to hire, right? Maybe you're looking for a job, whatever it is, you need to know why you're on the platform and who more or less you're looking to connect with. Okay. The second thing is that it's not really about you, right? Business, if you're in business, you're here to serve. Like you're going to get paid when you provide something that people find valuable enough for the price that you attach to it, right? And that could literally be anything, but it has to be, it could be an experience, it could be a product, it could be a service, whatever it is. You're not going to get paid until that person, number one, knows that you exist. Okay. And number two, believes in whatever it is that you're promising. Okay. And really a lot of that is trust at the end of the day. So especially if you're in service business. So rule number 3 is you're not entitled to anyone's time, attention, or energy. So stop acting like it. When you approach people and you're like, let's have a virtual coffee. I would really love to have a virtual coffee with every single one of my connections, but I'm only one person and my time doesn't allow for it. And I get requests to probably have virtual coffees 20 times a day. So when you approach someone like that, again, what you're asking for is the one thing that they probably don't have much of, which is time. You're asking for attention. You're asking for energy in exchange for what? Right? And so you're also putting them in a position where they're going to have to say no, right? And so we have to stop taking before we give, right? We got to get out of that habit, because you're probably missing out on so many opportunities just because of the approach. Rule number 4, give 5 to 10 times before you ask for something. Okay. Give 5 to 10 times before you ask for something. And so what are some of the ways that you can give, right? Number 1, think about what you can do to elevate this person. For example, if someone's creating content right now, anyone that comments, likes, shares this post, you're technically elevating me. And so I appreciate you so much. People that share my posts, they go even a step further. And so I connect with them. Why? Because they're helping the post get more reach, right? And so think about even the littlest things. Little things really count. You don't have to go above and beyond here. Think about just one thing that you can maybe do to elevate this person. If they're creating content, maybe that is replying to their content, liking their content, maybe sharing their content, right? If they are, if you see that they're like doing a charity, or that their business page is like doing an event, maybe it's doing the same thing there. Maybe it's, introducing their page to your network so that more people can connect with them. So those are just the little things. The second thing is connect them with relevant information. But of course, right, to do this, you need to take some time to learn about what would be relevant to this person, right? What is this person like? What does this person actually do? What are their goals? And you can learn a lot by just looking at their LinkedIn page or their social media or whatever. But you could also learn a lot by listening to their content, right? Reading their stuff, maybe going to their website and seeing like what their values are or whatever. So I'll give you an example. This morning I was listening to a Clubhouse room, and it was like a real estate room. And they were really, one woman came to the stage. She was a seller's agent. And she was saying how when there's like remodel stuff that needs to be addressed before they close the deal, that she kind of sways her sellers against VA and FHA approved loans, like on the buyer's end. And so there were a lot of people in the room that were like, that is wrong. Okay, that's not your place. There are programs for the FHA loans and for the VA buyers to get these things done. And they shared strategies. Basically, they were saying that this is a big reason why a lot of FHA approved and VA approved home buyers are getting rejected. Their offers they're being discriminated against, so to speak, because the seller's agents are telling the seller to accept other offers, like from conventional loans or cash or whatever. So it was a very passionate conversation. And so now I know that that's something that these hosts really, really are passionate about and really care about. So now I can connect them whenever I see an article about this, whenever I see something addressed just with this issue, whenever I see something about VA and FHA loan discrimination, I can connect them with that type of information, right? And they would find it relevant because I took the time to actually pay attention and listen. So again, Stop trying to just send a message and get a quick gain for yourself. Actually take the time to learn, and you will actually be able to seamlessly start a conversation or a relationship, right? Number 3, think about who you can connect them to in your network that would be beneficial, not just for the person that you're trying to connect to, but the other person that you already know in your network. And again, you can't do this, right? Unless you know really who people are, what motivates them, what they're trying to achieve, what they do, and how they would clearly benefit each other in getting to know each other, right? And when you do these introductions, you don't just want to say, hey, John, this is Sally. She's also in, marketing. And I just wanted to introduce you to you. In my opinion, if you're the person introducing them, you should really have clear intentions as why you're introducing them. Just say it. Like one time I got a message from a LinkedIn connection, and he introduced me to someone, and he's like, hey, this is he used to be a big VP. I think he'd be a great, person for your live show. Right. Okay. That makes sense. Right. I don't have to think about how I could help this person now. The introducer should take that out of the hands of the person that's being introduced to them. You want to make it as seamless as possible for both of those parties to get on the phone with a clear direction, not they're in the wild jungle just trying to figure out how they could benefit each other. That's it's gonna it's gonna deter, and it's gonna delay the process of them making that mutually beneficial connection or working together or whatever. So you want to do that, number 1. And then number 2, you maybe even want to follow up with both of them individually and say, hey, did you ever connect with Sally? You could call John and say, hey, John, did you ever connect with Sally? And then you could call Sally and you could say, hey, Sally, did you ever connect with John? Just to make sure that they at least had their first conversation. After that, just, it's up to them. It's 2 adults here, but you at least want to make sure people are busy, right? You want to make sure that they at least talked. So that's that. So you want to think about, who can I introduce you to? Who can I introduce this person to that could potentially benefit from them or with them or whatever. And those connections, honestly, are probably the connections that get my attention the most, right? I responded to 2 messages on Friday. And again, it was a connection based on this. Someone in my network who I trust, right, was like, hey, Shanae, I want to introduce you to this person. This is why. This is where I kind of know this person. And, I think that they could benefit or whatever. So now I'm going to get on a phone call with that person today. And they did it again for a second person. So you want to do that, because if it's someone that you trust, they should respond, right? And if the clear direction is obviously mutually beneficial, then you're not just providing value for one person, you're actually doing it for 2. Okay. So number 4 is you want to ask questions. You want to ask questions that could lead to conversation. You don't want to waste the other person's time. You don't want to be super generic. You don't just want to have a conversation that's not going anywhere. You want to ask intentional questions, and maybe questions that they've never really been asked before. You want to use every single opportunity when you reach out to stand out, instead of just fall into the crowd where everyone else is asking for a virtual coffee. Everyone else is trying to get this and that and this and that. And when you are a giver, you stand out. When you ask questions that people don't usually ask, you stand out. So number 5, whenever you see an opportunity to help with your skills, knowledge, or experience, then do it, right? And so if someone does a post and they're looking for, for example, if someone does a post and they're looking for a hire, someone in my network was looking for an email marketer, right? And so I immediately knew, okay, I have these people that I really trust with email marketing. I should introduce them. If someone in my network's like, I really want to grow my LinkedIn, I'm going to leverage my knowledge, my skills, my experience. If they want to grow their online business, I'm going to reach out. I'm going to be intentional about reaching out and letting them know how I can help them with my skills, knowledge, experience, right? Where they could find out more, so on and so forth. But you don't just want to assume that they're going to want your skills, knowledge, experience without any kind of context, any kind of information, any kind of recent announcement or post or whatever that they've done. You don't want to do that, because that's what like a lot of outbound marketers do. And again, yes, you can message 100 people, you could get 5 replies, you could get 2 people on a call, whatever. But what the data isn't showing you is, what about the 95 other people that now don't want anything to do with you and have a kind of bad taste in their mouth of your personal brand because of the way that you approach them, right? And maybe had you approached all 100 in a way where maybe you took a week of patience, right, and approach them a little bit differently, maybe instead of 5 replies, you would have gotten 25 or 30 or 40, right? Maybe instead of 2 people on the phone, you would have gotten 15, right? And so these are the type of things that when you're looking for the quick kind of result, you're actually like the metaphor, shooting yourself in the foot, so to speak. So number 6, ask for what you want, right? Once you build up that relationship, you have a couple of conversations, like let them know what you're thinking, let them know your intention. Like, people are not telepathic, right? So for example, when I started building a friendship with Courtney, who originally reached out to me on LinkedIn, we had a few phone calls. I started noticing that she would keep referring people to me, right? At the time, she was doing medical billing. At the time, I was doing healthcare marketing. And a lot of the people that would get their credentialing and all of that set up, they would then need patients, right? And they didn't know how to get them, especially in the beginning. So she would just refer. And I started like noticing these connections. And I was like, well, why don't we just do a one-stop shop, like growth agency for healthcare? Because this doesn't make sense, right? They need it all. And again, if I had never done that, right? If I had just assumed that she would do it or connect the dots or assume that she was telepathic, then we probably would have never started MedSnake Media, which led into Growth Academy and started this entrepreneurial adventure, right? And that was in January 2019. Okay, so it's just amazing to me that people undervalue the potential of relationships in their life, and what you get in your business is just a byproduct of the relationships that you build, the people's attention that you're able to capture, right? Not only get, but actually capture and keep. And really the type of people that you have in your circle. And it, again, number 7 would be reach out. Okay. So there are so many people that do not reach out, like do not say hello, do not try to connect you with someone, do not even try. And you're missing like more than just outbound messages and stuff. You're missing out on the most, because imagine like if Courtney had never sent me that first message, she would have never become my co-founder. And I had no network at the time. I had no following. Today, she has over like 40,000 followers, and I grew a lot. So you don't know what you're missing out on if you don't even reach out. And so if you want to network better, if you even have questions about this, don't be shy, reach out to me, but be intentional about it, right? I'll try to reply to all of you, and do yourself a favor. The masterclass is free. It's 2 hours live, right? Every single one is different. There's no script that I follow or anything. And join me on Saturday at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the masterclass. There's a little thing in the right bottom corner, I believe, of this video. It says yougrow.club. That's all you have to do. Go to www.yougrow.club, register, and not just for me, right? You're doing this, show up for yourself. Don't just register and not show up. Be part of the 20% that do show up, right? Be part of the just be someone that like keeps promises to yourself and has that personal integrity as well. Um, this is a skill that I could literally write a book on, just networking in general. You don't want to put your time and energy, which are the only two resources that you have limited of, where they're not going to blossom, where you're not going to have abundance, so that then you could give back to other people, your community, your church, and things. If you're putting hours and hours and hours and hours into LinkedIn or into networking, and it's not it's not showing a harvest even within a month, right? Then learn from someone who knows how to do this and go to the master class. So I'll see you there if networking better on LinkedIn is important enough to you. I hope that you have a beautiful Monday, and I hope that this helped you. And God bless you.